UNC Pembroke men's basketball trailed by as many as 14 points in the second half against Young Harris, but came back to win by 6. On the women's side, a Braves rally led to a victory for the home team. Both the men's and women's teams split a pair of Peach Belt Conference contests last week. On the wrestling mat, UNCP snapped a 4-meet losing streak with 4 wins last week. Wins over Coker, Anderson, Emmanuel, and Ferrum give the Braves some momentum going into the last 2 conference contests. Number 26 women's golf opened their spring 2016 season with a 5th-place finish, led by junior Ashley Thompson's 5th-place individual mark. Track and field was at the Buccaneer Invitational for the second-to-last indoor meet of the year, where the Braves posted 3 UNCP school records. Fatima Funderburk in the 200-meter dash, Gina Cubey in the pentathlon, and the distance medley team all tallied UNCP records. UNCP baseball hosted Pitt Johnstown for the opening weekend of the 2016 season. The Braves won 2 games Saturday before Sunday's game was rained out. And weather also affected UNCP softball, which hosted a tournament last weekend. The Black and Gold posted a 1-2 record. Both baseball and softball will be home again this weekend. The Black and Gold Report starts now. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Black and Gold Report presented by Pepsi, a show all about UNC Pembroke athletics. I'm Cameron Songer, and this week we get a season update with UNCP track and field head coach Peter Ormsby. But first, we'll talk to UNCP Braves men's basketball head coach about how the season's going. Ben Miller, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Cam.
Let's get right to it. The update on your team season so far. The Braves are 12-11 overall, a 6-8 mark in the Peach Belt Conference. That puts you in 5th in the PBC East, just 1 game back of the 3rd-place team. That's Francis Marion and Armstrong State. Who you have both coming up on your schedule. Give us a progress report on your program as we head into the last 5 games of the 2016 season.
Well, obviously we played a little better on Saturday. Our team defense improved, and that's what it's going to take down the stretch. We got a lot of opportunities against teams we're battling for a position with in the conference coming up. So we'll see if we can keep improving.
The Braves have won 2 of the last 3 games, including a 78-72 comeback victory over that pretty solid Young Harris team Saturday you talked about a little bit on Lumbee Guarantee Bank Court. UNCP trailed by 14 in that one, was able to put together some impressive runs in the second half. What was the difference in that game as compared to some of your other games that have gone the other way this season?
Well, we've been in a lot of games and found ways to lose a lot of those close games, whether it's free throws or not getting defensive stops. So that's been a point of emphasis in practice, is closing out games. And we do have a lot of young guys playing critical minutes, or guys that didn't play for us last year. Guys like Mike Smith came off the bench and made huge contributions. So it's a new experience for some of those guys, and just getting a little success in that situation, I think, will really help our team down the stretch.
You got 20 points, 4 steals, and 3 assists from freshman James Murray Boyles on Saturday. He fell just 2 points short of his career high, which was set earlier this season at Catawba. Talk about JB's progression as a first-year player and what he brings to your lineup when he's in the game.
Well, he's been like most freshmen, just really up and down. Very talented, tons of energy, loves the game. And sometimes he's had some great games. Saturday he really stepped up, especially in the second half. Early in the season, he had a great game against Catawba, and has had some other moments, but then there's other times where he loses focus and just a lack of experience. But we're pleased with his progress, and I think he's going to keep getting better.
UNCP committed just 14 turnovers in the win on Saturday, but just 4 in the second half. That also saw the Braves shoot better than 50% from the field. What kind of adjustment did you make in the halftime talk in Saturday's game?
Well, defensively, we always talk about defense and rebounding first and foremost, and our team defense helped get our offense going, especially in the second half when we got down. We got some steals and got out and got some easy baskets in transition. But a critical stretch was late in the game. Alex Bradley didn't shoot it well, but he really took over running the team down the stretch, where we not only got stops, but we executed at the offensive end and got good shots, which hasn't always happened, as you've witnessed yourself. So it was good to see us execute like that against a very good team down the stretch.
The Braves are averaging a +3 mark in the rebound margin so far this season, good enough for 3rd among the 14 Peach Belt Conference schools. It's an area of emphasis for you, and you've only been out-rebounded 4 times this season. What is it that makes rebounding such a huge point of emphasis for your team?
Well, statistically, if you look at the NCAA and the teams that win most often, rebound margin is always one of the most important factors. And obviously it's a point of emphasis for us because if you out-rebound your team, you get more possessions, you get more shots, you give yourself a better chance to win. And that's something you can control every day. It's focus, it's effort, toughness. There's going to be days where shots aren't going in, but if you rebound the ball, you can keep in a lot of games, especially if you're getting stops as well.
Now, we talked a little bit about James Murray Boyles, another freshman, Carson Mounts, tallest player on your team. Talk about the progression of both freshmen and also how important it is their effort has been on the glass.
Yeah, Carson's playing with a lot of confidence. He can score the ball. He's got great hands and touch for a big guy with jump hooks either hand. He can shoot it 15, 17 feet. His biggest challenge is just the speed and of the game. Going from high school to college is a big transition. That's why freshmen sometimes can look really good and other times look lost out there. But he stepped up and played really well for us in the Young Harris game, just like JB did. So having two freshmen come in and deliver like that was great.
All right, Ben Miller, stay where you are. We need to take our first break here on the Black and Gold Report. We'll still be talking to UNCP men's basketball head coach Ben Miller when we come back. We also have UNCP track head coach Peter Ormsby. Stay tuned. The Black and Gold Report will be right back. Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report, a show all about UNC Pembroke athletics. I'm Cameron Songer, joined once again by Braves men's basketball head coach Ben Miller. Coach, let's get right back to it. Your team passes the ball very well, registered 14 or more assists in 6 of the last games your team has played. And during that span, the Braves have recorded assists on nearly 55% of made field goals. Has that been a point of emphasis for you in practice, maybe to look for that extra pass before taking the shot?
I think so. There's a lot of, kids growing up today, there's so much individual play and guys creating a shot on their own. And I think that next level of maturity as a basketball player is understanding how to work together to get shots, make the extra pass, set a good screen, make a hard cut without the ball, which in essence will hopefully translate into more assists and assisted field goals like you're speaking of.
Now, your team is +3 in assist to turnover ratio per game during that time as well. It also helps that your team forces a lot of turnovers on the defensive end. I'm sure you've been pleased with that aspect of your offense, though, giving more assists than turnovers you commit.
Yeah, we've been good. We've got to keep getting better. I think the teams that keep playing down the stretch, number one, can get stops and guard, rebound the ball, but also take care of the ball. Because, a turnover, there's a lot of bad things that come. You don't get a shot, number one, but oftentimes if you turn it over, the other team's getting a high percentage shot at the other end, a transition basket or a layup. So taking care of the ball is really critical, especially if you expect to keep playing into March.
Let's take a look now at the upcoming schedule. 5 games left in the regular season, 2 home and 3 away. You visit PBC East leading Lander on Wednesday, and you will possibly be able to jockey for position with 2 games against Armstrong. You also take on Flagler and Francis Marion. What are 2 or 3 things you'd like to see from your team coming down the home stretch?
Well, I think our guys obviously felt good about how we played against Young Harris, and I think they understand how critical it was to play better team defense. Taking pride in guarding your man better and not giving up as much dribble penetration, but also being in help position. The game before, we gave up so many uncontested layups because we didn't rotate and help each other out. So it's not one-on-one defense, it is team defense. I think that's something hopefully we can keep building on, as well as, like you said, team execution and rebounding the ball.
February 27th will signal the quarterfinal round of the 2015-2016 Peach Belt Conference Tournament. There seems to be a lot of parity in the league this season. Did you see any favorites heading into the postseason at this point?
Well, it's funny, all the league leaders got beat last weekend. So I think, like you said, the margin between the top teams and the teams down near the bottom is very small. So I think it's really wide open here down the stretch, and I think it'll be an exciting couple weeks coming up.
What is it going to take from your team to put yourself in a position to be perhaps a favorite, but just in the Peach Belt Conference Tournament, getting to that point?
Yeah, we can't take anything for granted. Every game, every possession is critical because so many teams want the same things we do. Everybody wants to keep playing, and in our conference, only half the teams basically get to continue on into the postseason conference tournament. So it'll be a battle. I think the teams that want it the most, that kind of stay the course and keep grinding are going to have an opportunity, because I think the talent level is very equal across the board.
What does it mean for you as a coach knowing you have a lot of experience on your roster, starting 2 fifth-year seniors? You also have a redshirt junior point guard, Alex Bradley. Does it give you a little bit more peace of mind as a coach knowing that you have guys who've been a little bit more battle-tested coming down the home stretch in a very important couple games?
Yeah, I think so. That's always nice, but I think if you look at the teams that are in the mix, most of them have some veterans. And I think that sense of urgency that comes with being a senior, being your last opportunity maybe to play college basketball and have a chance to get to postseason, hopefully will raise the focus, the intensity of not just our seniors, but also the entire team.
One of the storylines for your team throughout the season, Kwame Rose injured very early on. You expected a lot from him. Obviously took a little while for your team to get going and find, I guess, replacements for the scoring and everything he did on the floor. Talk about that process, and also Kwame just continuing. I mean, I've seen him on the bench, seen him continue to be involved with the team. Well,
his attitude's been great. Obviously, he was really devastated when the injury occurred, as was our team. He was the heart and soul, the leader of our team. So, you never really recover or get over something like that. But fortunately, he's had a great attitude with his rehab and focusing on, number one, graduating, and then coming back hopefully for an extra year to compete next year. But our team, struggled obviously, and it's been a roller coaster, but hopefully we're hitting our stride and have settled into a good rotation here down the stretch.
All right, Coach, it's time for us to take another break on the Black and Gold Report. Thanks for joining us. When we come back, we'll be joined by UNCP track and field head coach Peter Ormsby. This is the Black and Gold Report.